really know how this happened, but I read 15 books in the month of September, and I had some really incredible reads, as you can see by all of those tabs. I really want to talk to you guys about them, so why don't we just go ahead and do that? Because I also want to talk to you guys about my reading plans for October, because I have some really exciting things planned for the both of us. If you've been watching my previous videos, then you kind of already sort of know what I'm going to be announcing, but I'm going to be leaving the very exciting news for the end of the video, so that means that you guys are going to have to hear me talk about the 15 books that I read in the month of September. I also just kind of want to have fun with my reading in October, because for some reason it's always just so hard for me to find books that I am genuinely excited for and that I know are going to be good. And that's why I am so grateful that this video is actually being sponsored by Book of the Month. If you don't know what Book of the Month is, it's okay, I've got you. They are this monthly book subscription service, and they take care of everything, okay? You don't have to do any research. You don't have to worry about if a book is going to be good or if it's going to be bad. You just have to sit back, pick your books out, and wait for them to arrive in this beautiful blue box. They pick books from new and emerging authors, and also authors that you already know and love. They also offer the best price for new released hardcover fiction. You can get your very first book for $5. I'm sorry, did you hear that? For $5 using the code PUMPKIN. The first book that I got was Sally Rooney's new release. Literally, I can't believe that I'm holding this in my hands. And I also got Dearest by Jackie Walters. Book of the Month did not come to play with their October picks, so make sure you head on over to bookofthemonth.com to check out their October picks and to get your first book for only $5 using the code PUMPKIN. So as I was saying, I read 15 books in the month of February? Oh my god. No, I've read 15 books in the month of September. Thank you very much. I feel like all of the books that I read this month were good, and I think that the lowest rating was a 3.5 star, which is not bad at all. So the first set of books that I read in September were actually Kaiju number 8 volumes. I read volume 3, volume 4, and volume 5. Now listen, I have been an avid lover of Kaiju number 8 ever since it came out, really. I have watched season 1 of the anime. I've been reading the volumes. I know that there's more out, but I still haven't gotten them, but I will because I'm obsessed, Your Honor. I'm sorry, but like there is no other option. When you start reading Kaiju number 8, you either fall madly in love with it or you just become extremely obsessed with it. There is no in between. If you've never heard of Kaiju number 8 before, I'm here to make your day a lot better. Kaiju number 8 is this new manga anime story about this guy. So in Kaiju number 8, we are living in a monster-infested Japan, and in order to survive and not be killed by these monsters, we have created these forces, like these military forces that fight against them, and we also have like the cleaning crew, like the people that get rid of the bodies, the people that get rid of everything that gets left behind after a battle. Our main character, Kafka, is actually part of the cleaning crew, but his dream is to join the defense force just so that he can prove to his childhood best friend that he can stand next to her, because his best friend, she's like one of the major leaders in the defense force, and he wants to be with her. Basically, no, it's like literally the concept of the story. So Kafka, in his journey to joining the defense force, is somehow infested with one of the monsters that he has to kill. So he becomes half monster, half human. He's literally a monster, but he still joins the forces that are dedicated to eradicating what he is, which is a monster. So he's like fighting for humanity, but he's also part of the problem. Like, it's crazy, it's insane. And so Kafka, he's like joining the defense force and he's making friends and he's trying to train to become the best, but then he's also dealing with this other side of him that is a monster. It's kind of crazy, but it's also so hilarious, and I feel like the action scenes are so well done. It's like that perfect blend of comedy with action. It's just good, okay? It's just good. Honestly, if you're looking to fill your Jujutsu Kaisen hole, because I know that Jujutsu Kaisen was recently recently finished. This is a great way to fill that Jujutsu Kaisen shaped hole in your life. Kaiju number 8, my dude. All of these, I'm so sorry to say, but all of these were 5 stars. Now listen, it's not that easy for me to give books or even mangas 5 stars. Like, they have to fit, or they have to check so many of my boxes for me to give them a 5-star review. And for all 3 of these volumes to be 5 stars, you just know that they have to be delivering. They left no crumbs, and I need you guys to read Kaiju number 8. I need to talk about Kaiju number 8 with my people, with my community, so why don't we all just go ahead and read Kaiju number 8. In volume 5, we actually meet even more characters, and the world gets even bigger because we get to interact with different defense forces, because obviously Japan is such a big country. You need several defense forces in different parts of the city, and it's just yes. This was a great start to my month. As you can see, I'm literally so hyped up just from talking about Kaiju number 8. And you could be as happy as I am if you read Kaiju number 8. So go ahead and do that. Apart from manga, I also read some novels. I actually read, I read 4 classics in the month of September. That is actually insane. And as you can see, the classics are the ones that have the most tabs. Look at that. That is actually insane, the amount of tabs that I've used this month, but I don't regret it because all of these books were amazing. Let's start with the first one, which is The Room on the Roof by Ruskin. I actually read this for a 24-hour readathon, which was actually a blind readathon. So meaning that I didn't know what books I was going to read before I started the readathon. That could have gone so wrong, but it actually went so right. Like, I found my new favorite book. I found 2 5 stars if I'm not mistaken. Like, that readathon was probably one of the best that I've had in terms of results. The Room on the Roof wasn't one of those 5 stars, but I still really enjoyed it because it's basically the story of this kid. Our main character, Rusty, he has a very strict English guardian that doesn't really let him connect with other kids his age. He's literally 16 and he has no friends, and he's basically spent his entire childhood locked at home learning and not really interacting with other people until this one day where he decides to run away and explore Indian culture and live his life, really. I wouldn't say that this is like a tragic book, but it will tug at your heartstrings. It will make you sad. Like, we're just following him as he's experiencing life for the first time. He experiences his first love, his first heartbreak, his first friendship, his first abandonment. Obviously, in life, there are so many different emotions and so many different experiences, and we get to live them all with Rusty. And sometimes, you know, it's a good time, sometimes it's a depressing time, but overall, I would say that it's a very worthy read, and I would definitely recommend this one. Like, it's not the most fun experience, and sometimes it does feel like a little bit slow, because it is more of an introspective novel than it is an action-packed novel, if that makes sense. Even though it's not the fastest of reads, I still feel like you can take something away from this novel, and I would recommend it. I ended up giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars, and it made me feel things that I don't think I was ready to feel. But sometimes life does that to you. Then I went ahead and read if you saw that 24-hour readathon, then you know what's up. You know what's up. I read probably my favorite book of the month. I think you can say that. Stoner by John Williams. Look at the amount of tabs. Like, I cannot make this up. Now, this truly rewired my brain chemistry. This truly just shook my world. I'm still not over this book, okay? Like, even just looking, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to make eye contact because I know that I'm just going to relive everything that this book put me through, and I don't think I'm ready for that. So basically, Stoner is a book, yes, thank you. Stoner is a book, and period. We're following this man, and he's called William Stoner, hence the name of the book, and we are quite literally following his entire life. Once again, a very introspective read, but in this case, because here with Rusty, we're basically following him through his childhood and like the beginning of his teenage years, but here it's William Stoner's entire life. So we get to see even more. We get to see all of his firsts, and we also get to see all of his lasts. And when I tell you that I have never really known heartbreak quite like this, I've never really known pain quite like this, I've never really known, like, I really thought I knew what depression felt like, but not like this, never like this. Stoner taught me so much, not only about life, but about myself as well, and how I feel about certain things and what I think about certain things, and things that I thought would never affect me. Suddenly, in this book, through William Stoner's eyes, I felt like a different person reading this. This was truly such a transformative experience. And if you ask me to tell you what this book is about, all I can say is that we're just following this man's life, William Stoner. He's an English professor in this college. He has a life. Is it a good life? Is it a bad life? Who am I to judge? You know what I mean? Like, they don't make him like him anymore. You know what I mean? Like, Stoner is such... he is... Don't. I am not gonna cry over this book again, but just know that Stoner became my favorite book of September. Like, never in my life have I supported a man's wrongs except in this book, okay? It just has to be said. This was me the entirety of the book, okay? This was literally me. Stoner by John Williams is a 5-star. I literally can't give anything else to this book that is not a 5-star. At the beginning, when I first finished it, on a pettiness level, I did give it 4.5 because I could never forgive a book that hurt me so much, and I could never willingly give it 5 stars. But then I was like, if I give it 5 stars, then a lot more people are gonna want to read this book, and I need everybody to read this book, because if I had to go through this, you guys do too. Like, I can't be the only one that's experiencing this book. We just need to cry together over William Stoner. You know what I mean? Like, it just has to happen, okay? So, like, do this for me. Just read this book and then tell me about it, okay? I'll be waiting. The other classic that I read was Maurice, written by E.M. Forster. This one was also quite an experience. This is basically, once again, we're just following this one main character through his life, and this one is a little bit different though, because we have like a main theme, and the theme is that he's gay in a world or in a time where it was literally illegal to be so. But that doesn't really stop him. I mean, obviously it can't stop him from falling in love and wanting to have this love no matter what. We see him exploring life and love, exploring himself, learning about himself through this first love. Maurice by E.M. Forster is also a very... ¿Cómo te digo? Es como que it's one of those novels that makes you feel so much, and you didn't even realize that that was possible. Like, it makes you feel the heights of love and romance, but then it also plunges you to the depths of depression and sadness and trauma. And it's like, how can one simple book, especially one that is so short, how can one simple book make you feel so much? And yet E.M. Forster manages to do that. I wouldn't say that this is the most accessible classic that I've read. E.M. Forster uses a lot of words that I had to look up because I was like, my dude, what do you mean? Like, I even tried to use the context clues and like reading around the word to see if I could understand without having to look it up, but I couldn't. I had to have like my little Google search open while I was reading Maurice, but honestly, I didn't mind it. It is very beautiful writing. It takes a second to understand what it means. You just have to put a little extra effort to understand Maurice, but trust me, it's worth it. I ended up giving Maurice 4 out of 5 stars just because I get it. I get why this book has survived the test of time. I get why it's a classic. I get why it's important to read this book and understand what it meant that this book was written in 1914, and also understand why we had to wait until Forster was dead in order to publish it. Like, there are just so many things to understand about this book. Not only about the contents of the book, but also the context of the book. Oh my God, I kind of popped off with that, not gonna lie. Like, the content, but also the context. Does that even make sense? I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. Tell me if I popped off. The other book that I read, this one is by Dostoyevsky, of course, or better known, you know, colloquially known as Fyodor Dostoyevsky. If you don't know, actually, this is like a cute little fun fact about me if you're new to this channel. Hi, my name's Bella, and I love Fyodor Dostoyevsky. I've read so many of his works. Some of them I've loved, others not so much, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I love and respect and adore Fyodor Dostoyevsky. This month, I had the pleasure of reading Humiliated and Insulted by Fyodor Dostoyevsky. So look at this. Just look at the amount of tabs that I had to use for this. It's actually insane, the amount of tabs that I used, but I'm not mad about it. There was just so much to discuss. There was so much that these characters were making me feel and were making me think, especially this moment. This is such a telenovela moment and I'm so here for it, of course. Also this, why can't we just have nice things? Like Dostoyevsky, he is a man that's gonna make you feel a lot. And I think that that's what I love about reading his novels. Dostoyevsky has a way of writing characters that feel so real, and the things that they do, the actions, the words that they say, they affect you on a personal level. Like you start taking everything so seriously and so personally, as if they were attacking you. Or when the main character is acting foolishly or they are making stupid mistakes, you take that personally. You're like, why would you do this? Why would you attack my character this way? These characters start to belong to you in a way because you grow so connected to them. You are so empathetic towards their situation because Dostoyevsky also knows how to write these characters in a way they just feel so real, you know what I mean? So whatever happens to them, it's also like it's happening to you. Even when they're maybe entering morally gray territory, you still find ways of excusing them for their behavior because they're just misunderstood, okay? And they're just touch deprived, they're just love deprived, they just need someone to appreciate them. He just really understood the human condition, and he just really understood how humans think and how they feel and what makes humans tick. Humiliated and Insulted, which for so long I called it Humiliated and Disgusted, and it wasn't until a patron was like, it's so funny that you keep calling it Humiliated and Disgusted. Is it not? No, and Insulted, shut up. It's because it's in the way that I genuinely thought it was disgusted. Our main character is Vanya, and he is very much not the main character in his own life. He's basically just there as an observer, and he's just seeing everybody else live their lives. He's very much in love with this one woman that's called Natasha, but Natasha is making some horrible life decisions. She decides to leave her home and marry this man who is called Alyosha. All of these characters, they are so questionable. You know what I mean? Like, especially Alyosha. He had me grinding my teeth. He had me wanting to punch the page. He had me wanting to throw the book across the room because I could not deal. The lack of maturity of this boy had me wanting to scream. It had me wanting to bite his head off. But anyways, Natasha falls in love with him and she decides to give her life away basically for this man. And so ensues a family affair that I have never seen before. Like, it's so messy, it's so convoluted, it's so messed up, it's so depressing because obviously people that aren't even involved in the situation, they're suffering because of these characters. And you fall in love with these characters, you want to protect them, you feel like they're your family, you feel like they're your friends, and you just see their lives slowly deteriorating and they're slowly destroying themselves, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like watching a train wreck. I think that Humiliated and Insulted is just a great depiction of humanity, okay? Like, it shows so many sides of humanity, and it shows all of the good, it shows all of the bad. It's one of those books where literally nothing happens, but if you've read Dostoyevsky before, then you're kind of used to the fact that nothing really happens in Dostoyevsky's books. It's more so just a look at different characters and their psyches and how they deal with life, just how they're built different, all of the different personalities, how they interact with each other, how we constantly bring out the worst or the best in each other depending on the circumstance. If you're one of those character-driven girlies like I am, you're going to love Dostoyevsky and you're going to love Humiliated and Insulted. I think I'm going to be giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. I never felt bored. I was never really like not looking forward to reading this book because I did read it as a buddy read with a friend of mine, and we had to read 50 pages every day. Sometimes we didn't manage to read 50 pages, but the days that we could, I feel like those pages went by so quickly because the story, even though nothing really happens, you're still at the edge of your seat because these characters, they start to mean so much to you and you start to get so invested in how their lives are going to turn out. So yeah, Humiliated and Insulted, 4 out of 5 stars. Dostoyevsky has done it again. The next book that I read is a bit more light. It's definitely a lot more fun, and I think it's the only fantasy that I read this month, and that is The Reckoning of Roku, written by Randy Rebay. Listen, okay, I had so much fun with this because if you don't know, for the past couple of years, we've been getting these Avatar novels. The first two were about Kyoshi. The second set of books that we got were about Avatar Yang-Chen, and now we're up to Avatar Roku. Obviously, if you've watched Avatar The Last Airbender, then you know just how important Avatar Roku is. Not only Avatar Roku, but like the people in his timeline as well, like Sozin and Gyatso. It was really interesting to see their backstories and how they came to be, because obviously in the original TV show we've heard so much about these characters and we know things here and there about their backstories, but we never really found out the whole truth about them. So it's really interesting that we are now getting to see this full perspective of what went down with Roku, Sozin, and Gyatso. And it's so fun to get to know these characters on such a personal level because the adventures that they go on, they're so fun. And honestly, like, this book is kind of crazy. It goes to places that I wasn't expecting this book to go, but it makes the story that much more entertaining. I think I am also going to be giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. I am so excited about the second book in this duology because the way that this book ends, it just leaves you wanting more. And like, I need it right now. Aang becomes ocean playing in the, oh yeah, oh my god, I forgot. So while I was reading The Reckoning of Roku, I actually put the Avatar The Last Airbender soundtrack in the background. That is the best decision that I've ever made. It elevated this reading experience by 1,000, because imagine that I'm reading a fight scene and then suddenly Aang becomes ocean starts playing in the background. Like, it was literally perfection. It's the best of both worlds, really. And yeah, so if you ever read any of the Avatar novels, I highly recommend that you put the Avatar The Last Airbender soundtrack on, because it is going to make the reading experience so much better. You're gonna feel like you're in the book, and that is a crazy experience. That is a crazy feeling to have, but I would 100% recommend it. The other book that I read was actually, what's that word, an ebook. I read it on my Kindle, and it was actually my Patreon buddy read for September, which was Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. I have an entire reading vlog dedicated to this one, and I was honestly really pleasantly surprised by Lady Macbeth. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. Even though I haven't read the original material, which is Macbeth by Shakespeare, I still feel like I could enjoy Lady Macbeth for what it was. Even though I haven't read the original, I still know the gist of the story because I did organize a play back in high school. So like, I know what happens in Macbeth. Like, I know what goes down, and it was really cool to see Lady Macbeth's perspective and her own point of view, and also see what Ava Reid decided to change or leave the same, because obviously she didn't keep the story the same as the original. She does have her own changes, and I feel like those changes make the story really, really interesting, especially after the 50% mark. I feel like the story starts to pick up really quickly, and it's very exciting, and it keeps you at the edge of your seat, and it's just fun to read. Like, it was a really fun time. I didn't read that many fast-paced, action-packed books this month. Like, as you can see, I either read manga or classics, so I feel like Lady Macbeth was a really nice change of pace. And I ended up giving Lady Macbeth 4 out of 5 stars as well, just because I really actually enjoyed it. We do have some other manga that I read in the month of September. This one was a little bit of a letdown, just because I guess I was expecting it to be better, maybe, or maybe I just like hyped it up too much in my head, so when I actually read it I was like, this is a letdown. And that book, or that manga, is Chainsaw Man volume 13. I don't know why. I guess I was just expecting it to be something that it wasn't. That's basically it. Like, it does have its good moments, but overall, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, it just, you know what I mean? The way that it ends, it ends in a cliffhanger, which I am mad about, because that means that now I have to get volume 14. And I don't really want to be buying any more books, because I've obviously, like, I have a lot of new books and I want to read those before I spend more money on other books. But I need to read volume 14. Like, after this ending, I need to read volume 14. And I hate that they did that to me, because they knew what they were doing. But now I have to get it. I hate that, but what can I say? I'm just a victim of capitalism after all. I gave this book, this manga volume, 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was okay. It could have been better, or maybe I'm just being petty, but I think it could have been better. I also read Skip Beat Volume 1. I had heard of this before, but I didn't really know what it was about. And when I started reading it, I actually had so much fun. I feel like I read this so quickly because it was just really fun and exciting. I'm really interested in seeing where the rest of the series is going to go, but this is kind of, okay, listen to my predicament, because this manga series is still ongoing. And this, I think this was released in like the 90s. Oh, this is 2002, first published in 2002. I mean, that's still so many volumes. And obviously I'm already committed to collecting one other pretty huge manga series that is still ongoing as well. So I don't know if I can commit to collecting Skip Beat, but I'm definitely going to continue reading it online at least, because it's such a fun story. It's basically about this girl who has been supporting this one guy who has become like an idol of sorts, and she moved her entire life just for him, to like take care of him so that he wasn't alone, because he explicitly asked her to come with him, but he treats her so poorly. And she just takes it because she's like, oh no, I'm his best friend. Like, he wouldn't treat me badly just because like he was probably having a bad day. And then she finds out that he was actually using her, that he was manipulating her to get benefits, to get like his life taken care of, while he had nothing, like he didn't need to do anything for her to treat him like a prince. And she finds out about this and she's like, you know what? That's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and get my revenge. I'm gonna become a mega super idol, a mega superstar, and I'm going to take your place. And who doesn't love a good revenge story? So I definitely need to continue Skip Beat. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It was so fun. I need more. I need so much more. Then I read, oh my goodness, I actually can't believe that I started this series. Not only the manga series, but also the anime series. Because I don't know if you know, but I'm reading One Piece. I'm up to date with One Piece. I'm also like, not recently, but I also started watching Naruto. And now I'm also reading Bleach. So I'm like slowly but surely making my way through the big 3. And that's just kind of crazy to me because I never thought that I would be in this journey, but suddenly I am. And I'm having so much fun. Like, I have no regrets. I have some regrets, but most of it has been fun. I read this omnibus edition of Bleach, which has the first 3 volumes. And let me just say, this was a really fun experience. Like, I had no idea what Bleach was about before I started it, but we're basically following our main character, this orange-haired boy, and he's 15 years old and he can see ghosts. And this one night where his family is attacked by one of these evil spirits, he actually becomes a soul reaper in order to protect his family. And that's why he has like this huge sword. That's how he kills these evil spirits. And it's just an insane story. It's really fun. Again, just like kaiju number 8, this has like a nice blend of comedy and action. There's like a lot of mysteries surrounding Ichigo. Like, why is he so powerful? Like, where is all of this spiritual power or energy coming from? And it's just been really fun to get to know these characters and to get to know this world. It's just kind of crazy. And I also started watching the anime with my boyfriend. It's just nice. Like, I'm just really excited to continue this series and to see where it's going to go. And I think that the anime has like 336 episodes, so I definitely have a long way to go, but I am excited. I am excited, especially if I'm not going to be doing it alone. So I gave Bleach 4 out of 5 stars, and again, so excited to continue with this series. Oh my goodness. I also read this humongous deluxe edition of Vinland Saga. This is book 3, Vinland Saga by Makoto Yukimura. This was a 5-star. Don't, like, hand to heart, is this my heart? Yes. Hand to heart, this was a 5 out of 5 star. Like, there is no doubt about it. I really thought book 2 was the best, but then I went ahead and read book 3, and it was just like everything that I thought was perfection was even more elevated. It just got better and better, and I literally thought that was impossible, but it's not. Like, Makoto Yukimura just keeps raising the bar every single chapter, and it's insane to think how the quality of the story just keeps getting better and better with every flip of a page. Vinland Saga, I'm so sorry, but I don't know how to describe this story because okay, so initially we start off by following this character who you know, they're all Vikings and they live a very peaceful life. They have to go to war, and in this war, his dad is killed by this one person. And so he decides to make it his life's mission to avenge his father. He just dedicates his entire life to death and violence. And that's kind of like, yeah, but but like also apart from this character, we're also following other characters, and we're also following like these different wars that are going on and different battles and different like, you know, opposing forces. And like, yeah, this is a story about war and violence and fighting, but it's also a story that delves into the human psyche and the human condition, life and love, and the importance, you know what I mean? Like, I just cannot explain what Vinland Saga is about, because it's just so much more than what the synopsis would make you believe it's about. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those stories that just goes so much deeper than the surface level. I have no idea what I just said. I'm really like, I have no idea what I just said, but you have to take my word on this. Like, this is just a beautiful story. Like, yes, it's violent. Yes, it's dark, but it's also, it's just so good. I'm so sorry. Like, I tried my best. I tried my best, and I know that it wasn't good enough, but I just hope that by me giving this a 5-star, it at least like gives you a tiny bit of curiosity to check it out for yourselves, because this is a story that you do not want to miss out on, okay? I promise that much. I also read, which is kind of insane, I read volumes 2 and 3 of the deluxe edition of Berserk. These are so heavy. Crazy Behavior. Look at the amount of pages that I read. I don't even know how many pages those are. This has an explicit content sticker right at the beginning, like right in the cover. So that's how you know that this is some serious stuff. Like, Berserk is probably the darkest manga series, or just series in general, that you're ever going to read. Like, every single trigger warning that you can think of, Berserk has it, okay? If you're thinking of even flipping through the pages of Berserk, I hope you came prepared, because it's not pretty, okay? Like, it's a very, very dark manga series, and it delves into some really heavy topics that I can't even mention out loud on YouTube, because I would probably, I don't know what would happen, but I don't want to find out. How do I explain this? Berserk is the story of this character, you know what I mean? Like, his name is Guts, and he is a mercenary ever since he was a child. All he grows up with is death and violence and fighting, and there's really no love surrounding him, and somehow he just gets into the worst possible situations, and it's painful, it's heartbreaking, it's hard to read sometimes. Like, he has some issues, you know, like, don't we all? But I feel like Guts's issues are a lot more intense. He just has a very bleak existence that's filled with death, blood, guts, violence, and we're just following him as he lives his life, as he gets to these different places, as he kills different people. I am very excited to continue my Berserk journey and just see where Guts is going to be ending up in. Book 3 ended in a very beautiful place, actually. I wasn't expecting that. Book 3 makes you feel things. Ay, Dios mío, por favor. Okay. Book 3 makes you feel a lot of things, especially the ending. Oh my goodness. Both good and bad, actually. I just remembered the other part of the ending. I didn't want to remember that. Sunny, which is actually the first person that recommended this series to me, and is actually the person that gifted me these stunning editions, she said that if I thought book 2 and 3 were good, I am not ready for book 4, because it gets even better. I find that hard to believe, because books 2 and 3 are already so good, but I trust her. And if she says that book 4 is even better, I'm kind of scared, but I'm also really, really excited. So yeah, as you can see, I read period. I read a lot of books in the month of September, and I feel like most of them were really, really good. I don't really know what my average rating is, but I feel like I did really well, and I'm really happy with all of the books that I read this month. So we've officially made it to the end of this September wrap-up, but I can't let you guys go without sharing the very exciting news. Okay, stay with me. You guys are going to love this, because so many of you have been asking for it, and I feel like it has to be done, okay? It has to be done. In October, I am going to be hosting a DANMEI readathon. I am so excited for this, because it just sounds so fun. Like, even if you've never read DANMEI before, this is the perfect opportunity for you to join us and read some with me. So I'm basically going to be marathoning the entire Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation series. I've already read volume 1, so I'm I'm literally missing the rest of the series. And I just thought, I can't have this much fun and not invite you guys along with me. So I want you to read DANMEI. I want you to join me on this DANMEI readathon. You don't have to read Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. You can pick any DANMEI novel that you want and just read with me. We're just going to be reading DANMEI in the month of October. You can read it honestly whenever you want, just as long as it's in the range of October, you're good. We can discuss the DANMEI novels over on my Discord server, which the link is down below if you want to join. And yeah, let's just have fun reading DANMEI. I am so excited about this, you don't understand. Like, I am so excited. And I feel like it could be really fun to share this and like do this together. So please, if you've ever wanted to try DANMEI for yourself, this is the perfect opportunity to do so because you won't be alone. If you have any questions or if you need any recommendations, the Discord is there for you. It's gonna be so good. And I want us to do this together. So I hope that you will join me in reading DANMEI in the month of October. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it until the end, thank you so much. This literally means the world to me. It helps me out so much and it just makes me feel good about myself as well, like knowing that I entertained you guys for however long this video was. And I really do hope you enjoyed. If you did, I would love to know about it by either leaving a comment or leaving a like, or maybe even subscribing if you're feeling up to it. It's completely free and I feel like you're gonna have a good time here, so why not? I also have a Patreon where I post exclusive content. I host readathons, reading sprints, and a monthly book club. You can even join as a free member to see a preview of everything that I upload over there. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, the link is down below. As always, I would love to have you join my community. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so very much, and I will definitely be seeing you next time. Bye!
Hey Jimmy, you nice, keep going.